Let's unlock the mind with the secret to overcoming neurosis with meditation. This evening's lesson is drawn from Green Heroine's Easy Meditation, inspired by Dzogchen Rinpoche's Final Meditation Manual. Let's view letting go through the physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness and the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized, that we might leap over our self-grasping or pride. Now that's just an introduction to a category of practices. Let's turn our attention to a specific practice. But first, a bit of a warning, if I may. Together, let's chant. Those who tread the path of Devadatta, caught in the thrall of rigidity, confuse metaphors for literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain these metaphors as similes. And so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to look at one of four of these chants. Oops, wrong button. Together. So we're going to divide this in half, so be forewarned. As we inhale, we could notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. So, let's take a deeper dive. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing our sympathetic nervous system, ensconced not within the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears. It is found in the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It evolved not to support the two extremes of mind blanking or active concentration, but instead evolved to merely notice and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. This vulnerability is the price of perception, and it is inferred by the nudity depicted in tantric art. So what are some of the things that we could notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly? We could notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We could notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We can notice the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. Might I also say both the rational as well as the irrational? Oopsie. But what are we to do with such things? That brings us to the exhalation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are effortlessly and automatically accessing the parasympathetic nervous system, also ensconced within the spinal cord, this time in both the lower lumbar region as well as the tippy top of the cervical region. It has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release, and that is explored in the second half of our chanting together. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel it is not graspable of what is a real or imagined bija seeds of love light. So let us pretend there are two types of mantra, one polysyllabic and one monosyllabic. A monosyllabic mantra or a one-syllable mantra is sometimes thought of in Buddhist lore as being comprised only of light. Like a rainbow, it can be seen but cannot be grasped. Similarly, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever it is that we notice during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable comprised only of light. Now, we're not saying it is that way, just that it can seem that way. We're not saying that it will always seem that way, but momentarily. Things will sharpen up and solidify as we breathe in, and soften and feel less tangible as we breathe out. What is the point of that? We evolved to have a self-correcting mechanism. Just as in the multiple channels of our inner ear, there's a mechanism that allows us to stand perfectly perpendicular to an absolute plane, whether or not we've ever seen an absolute plane. Similarly, we have in our autonomic nervous system the mechanism for mental health. Of course, one of the great ironies is that the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears can sometimes be like a rambunctious child who gets underfoot. And so the question is how do we get the 3-pound supercomputer to stop competing with our autonomic nervous system and instead to cooperate with it? Simple. By encouraging our brain to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during the inhalation, it ceases to undermine perception and instead enhances it. Similarly, by allowing our brain to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax during each exhalation, instead of hindering release, it facilitates it. Now, our favorite cocaine addict, Sigmund Freud, coined the phrase neurosis, explaining that some emotions were irrational. And he did the best he could, bless his little heart, but he didn't have, back in the 1800s, they just didn't have sophisticated imaging technology. They didn't know how the brain worked. They didn't know that the rationale lived in the prefrontal cortex and that the emotions were the domain of the limbic system. But now we know that. And we know that there are no rational emotions. They're just emotions. It doesn't matter whether they are rational or irrational or pleasurable or painful or interesting or boring or glorious or grotesque. What matters is that we notice them as we breathe in and that we process them as we breathe out, viscerally, vulnerably. So let's spend a moment or two playing with this exercise, shall we? I look forward to chanting and meditating with you together as a team after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This evening's practice is Green Heroine's Easy Meditation. Upon the path of folly, one might superstitiously view the Green Heroine as that which we should worship and supplicate. However, upon the path of wisdom, we treat the Green Heroine as merely as an archetype. His iconography reminds us that we already possess the neurological architecture required for love, kindness, mindfulness, and meditation. For this evening's first exercise, we're going to play with 3 chants to help us to exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy as well as enthusiasm. The first of 3 recitations is rather literal, and we're going to set it to a quasi-triplet chant. Please join with me. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hate and craving and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example and instructions and students. And now we're going to perform a recitation that is more concise and more figurative. We're going to set it to the bookend chant, which is our go-to chant, and we're going to perform it for 3 repetitions together. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I master take 2. May all master letting go in love as well as kind communication, conduct, and calmness. May all master the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity as well as mindfulness and meditation. For this evening's first exercise, let us remember that let us answer the question. Since we no longer concentrate on our breath, what shall we do with our breath? Simple. We treat our breath the way a piano student treats a metronome. When we notice our body inhaling, silently and mentally we can recite the 12 syllables, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. And when we notice our body exhaling, we can silently and mentally recite an additional 12 syllables, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Let us contemplate the iconography of this archetype of enlightened activity together. I and all living beings as extensive as space have our crowns of white lotus and moon seed. During this exercise, during our inhalation, let's silently and mentally recite sitting tall, reminding our bodies to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. During each exhalation, let's silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. Upon the crown's lotus and moon's siege from the syllable Dhamma rises the octave great Tata. Her body is comprised of green light. She has 2 hands and 1 face. Her right hand resting upon her right knee is in the giving mudra. Her left hand is at her heart with the ring finger and thumb pressed together, holding the stem of the blue pala flower which blossoms at her left ear. During our inhalation, please silently and mentally recite "Notice this," and during our exhalation, please continue to recite "Relaxing." She is peaceful, smiling, and fully matured, adorned with all the precious garments and ornaments. Her left foot is tucked in and her right foot is slightly extended, in preparation for the inevitability of death. On the top of her head appears a Nirmanakaya form of Amitabha. During our inhalation, we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during our exhalation, we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. Having climbed to contemplative cruising altitude together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as young Luke Skywalker on Dagobah under the guidance of Yoda. Let us bring the experience of the 5 bodily regions into the path of bliss and letting go, which is known by many names, including Completion Stage Tantra, Bindu Mahamudra, Anu Yoga, and Tikle, which figuratively refers to channels, winds, and literally refers to drops. Together. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as real or imaginable syllable of green light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as real or imagined Rana Sambhava Sarabal Tram of gold light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever chest we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as real or imagined Nakshobhya Sarabal Hung of blue light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever throat we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as real or imagined Amitabha Sarabal tree of red light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever crown or scalp we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as real or imagined Vaidocana Sarabal loom of white light. Let us bring the 5 perceptions into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sight we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sound we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever scent we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever flavor we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sensation we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized. This is known by many names, including generation or creation stage, Tantra Mahamudra, Mahayoga, or even Tokal's leapover of jealousy. Together, let's chant. Those who tread that path of Devadatta waste time and energy chasing contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony with all breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. And we do that in 4 parts, beginning thusly. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real Lord. Imagine Tata symbolized by a tikli one syllable seed or bija mantra. May all relationships of all beings know be as joyfully loving as real or imagined taught as communication symbolized by this 10-syllable mantra. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist art, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined deva or yadaman type of enlightenment such as green Tara. Whoops. This should be pulled right here. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know have the good fortune or boon, as taught as real or imagined paradise, pure land or vanti. So having exercised the neural pathways responsible for love, we rest the mind. During each inhalation, we're already wired to receive, and during each exhalation, we're already wired to release. The question is, how do we keep our brain from getting in the way? And the answer is, you put it to work. So during each inhalation, we ask the brain to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we invite the brain to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which makes mindfulness and meditation so much easier. Let us view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized. Those who tread that path of Devadatta are caught in the thrall of prejudice, confuse metaphors for literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain these metaphors as similes. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined octopodium of light. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined mantra of light. As we inhale, we could notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined bija seeds of light. And now let us rest the mind. And now let us view letting go through a philosophical lens as we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. All circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this body or form. All bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communication or speech. All interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this mind. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into our vast empty void. like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Let us chant the Dharani explaining this mantra's meaning. Mamaja Tara, swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Tutare's meditation. Heroine fulfilling all aims with duties, mindfulness, thus with us irritable, so all may it be so. For the remainder of this evening's mantra meditations, as well as silent meditations, let us bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go. This is known by many names, including Dzogchen's Great Completion Stage, Sutra Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, and Trekcho's slice through the tyranny of the duality of dread and desire. To make the most of this mantra meditation, let us silently and during each inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the italicized line, relaxing into this. This refers to whatever we notice in the present moment, whatever we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and even randomly, whether that which we notice is a sight or a sound, or a sensation, or a flavor, or a scent, or the like. Whether that which we notice is an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining. Whether that which we notice is external, or internal, or physical, or mental, or pleasurable, or painful, or interesting, or boring, or glorious, or grotesque. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de. Oh, see, I almost forgot. But what do we do with that which we notice? Simple. During each exhalation, we physically relax as best we can. While striving to chant these 10 syllables 4 times per breath. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om da de de da de do de so wa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa, Om Dhare 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 Sowa. Om dane nu nane nu re so wa. 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 Om dare 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 nu nane nu re so wa. Om dane 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 nu nane Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa, Om Dare Du Nare Dure Zawa. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The key to truly getting the most out of mantra meditation, or perhaps another way of putting it, the way to convert mere mantra recitation into actual mantra meditation is twofold. Number one, during the inhalation, please silently and mentally recite this italicized statement, relaxing into this. What is this? This is whatever we noticed vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly as we breathe in. What do we do with that which we notice? We physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant these 10 syllables 4 times per breath. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Play with this once every 12 hours or so, and within a week, this could feel like old hat. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa, Om Dare Du Nare Nuri Suwa. Having chanted the mantra 16 times, let us take a moment. As silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we could watch the play of mind. And as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we could relax into mind's non-graspable nature. Dareru nareru rezuwa. 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 Welcome to this evening's live stream. Every time we exhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we're wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Sometimes our brain accidentally gets in the way, unless we give it a job to do. For instance, during the inhalation, we could ask our brain to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and then all of a sudden it cooperates with our sympathetic nervous system. Similarly, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we're wired for both physical relaxation and mental release. And we get to enlist the cooperation of our brain, the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears, by asking our brain to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Om dare du dare du re so wa. 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 Let us seal this evening's practice with the next 3 chants. May all minds be as wise as taught us, may all speech be as loving as taught us, may all forms be as healthy as taught us, and may all lots be as fortunate as taught us. May every meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings and practice master as well as instruct them generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of center spontaneity. May all meditation teachers spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.